Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show and another edition of The Final Word. It's myself, Matty from Imagine Not Being Leeds, Evie from Discourse of a Peacock, and of course, Paul from Leeds Therapy. And I feel I need some Leeds Therapy tonight, Paul, if I'm honest, because I'm still, I don't know how many hours after the fact, but I'm still... I don't know. I still feel shortchanged. I still feel annoyed. I think it's been compounded with results today. Burnley winning, Sunderland now getting closer, all this sort of stuff, you know. I'm still not concerned. You know, there's everyone doing mad little tables and all this stuff online saying, oh, we're not going to go up and that. I'm still not concerned. But it does need to change and change quickly. But we had a little brief chat beforehand and Paul's going to, I mean, he told me he's feeling pretty positive about the situation. So I wanted to hand over to him because I'm still down in the dumps a little bit. So, Paul, give me some Leeds therapy, my man.
Right, okay. So I've had 24 hours to zen myself out, get myself together, have a look at some bits and pieces and just work some stuff out. Statistically, we're on nearly 2.2 points per game. That's what we point towards at the moment. So we're still getting there slowly but surely. Even though the performance wasn't great, and it wasn't great yesterday, we can all happily say that, we're still in the top two. The good thing to look forward to, we've got Oxford coming up. I know they've just sacked their manager, so they've got a new manager coming in, new manager bouncing everything, but we should be absolutely steamrolling them. I think that, or I'm hopeful that what we've seen by Farker on yesterday was when he changed the formation slightly, when he brought on all of the attackers, we kind of went to 3-4-3 and immediately we were better. The thing that makes me really positive is that I saw what Solomon brings to the table when he came on yesterday. Immediately made a difference. Ramazani, when he came on, immediately made a difference. Dan James is the only one that of the starting lot that can really put his hand up and go, I had a really, really good game. But when I look at what came on, I'm really enthused still at what we can do. And that little Solomon thing really gave me a little bit of injection of positivity because he really, really changed it up in terms of whipping balls in and just looking like he was more interested in what was going on. And we're still going to go up. We're still second despite everything. We're still second despite everything that's gone on. And yes, it's a bit disappointing seeing what we've seen today with the other scores. But you see, this is the other thing. We can't keep reflecting on what other teams are around us, what they're doing. We have to reflect on what we do and how we do it. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm happy that we are still where we are. Yeah, Burnley and whatever did what they did. They won, Sunderland won, whatever. We're still second. And we will still be second after the Oxford game. Oh, you're muted.
Okay.
Sorry, folks. Just to further annoy myself. I do want to add some context as well, because I can see the comments and everyone's going, yeah, the away form, and look at Burnley and look at what they can do comparative to us. We live in the prism of Leeds United, right? So we only focus on ourselves, and rightly so. You know, Burnley are very good away, but they're bad at home. The actual disparity in points, we're closer to Burnley's away form than they are to our home form. So we can twist all sorts of madness round. Yes, Burnley are getting good away. But look, we still can't get away from the fact that Leeds United have had one win since September away from home. It's not good enough. Nope. We're drawing too many, but and rightly, as people say, we are very reliant on the home form at the minute. If that takes a dip, then we're up shit creek. But you would think, having watched Leeds United at Ellen Road, that won't. So we have to hope that I do think it'll turn around. I do. It's just, yeah, it's frustrating. Evie, you've come again more positive, I believe. I think me and Matty are still on the edge, but Evie, talk to us, because when you talk, the chat listens, so maybe you can get them to change their mind.
just before Evie pops in, sorry, Evie, just one point that I want to make, just one thing in terms of away form. Looking at the away, or looking at all of the games on Saturday, only one team won.
Yes.
Sheffield Wednesday. The away teams winning is really, really low this season. There's a big difference in it.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut into
No,
No, you're bang on.
right.
I remember hearing it on Not the Top 20. I think they'd said something like, away from home this season in the Championship, teams are not doing as well. But anyway, that's by the by. Go on, Evie. Thanks, Paul.
I think that, like, obviously, I didn't watch the game live. I watched it this morning, obviously, having seen the result, furiously refreshing my phone whilst out Christmas shopping, because that's the kind of person I am now, is I cannot fully ever concentrate on things when I know that Leeds United are playing. But I was happy. There's a cliche for a reason. If you can't win, then don't lose. And we struggled. Preston were really good. They had a plan. They were solid. They committed that plan almost to perfection. Should they have still had 11 players on the pitch? Absolutely not. And that played a massive portion, a massive part in it. But I actually think, even though the tribal part of me wanted them to at least be down to 10 men yesterday, the actual practical part of me thinks, well, if we couldn't break them down when they occasionally were going on the counter attack, we weren't going to be able to break them down when all they had to do was have a low block, because by that point they'd scored. So all they would have had to do is defend, which would have meant that they'd have been no different in terms of they'd have just, they just wouldn't have bothered going forward. I do think that, everybody has a complete right to be concerned with the away form, but we're still top two. We're still there. We are still, around, and we've now played the exact same amount of games as the teams that are in and around us. I don't know whether, I think Watford, a couple mid-table or at least edge of playoff places have like a game in hand because of the games that were cancelled because of the storm the other week. So, but in and around us, we've played the exact same amount of games and we're top two. Most people, including yourself, Joe, said not bothered about winning. We just want top two. And right now, we're exactly, if everything carried on and everybody stayed exactly where they were, we're top two. And the likelihood is, and we've still got to play all the teams in and around us again. So we could take 3 points off Sheffield United, and that swaps us around, because if everything stayed the same, our goal difference would be better. The same with Burnley. That's another 3 points that we can get. So everybody has the right to be concerned, but I don't think that there's need to panic. We're almost at the halfway point. We're in top two. We've still got the best goal difference in the league. All of the things are positive. It's just frustrating that we do lose the same type of games. But yesterday, we didn't, last week against Blackburn, we lost.
Yeah.
This week, we didn't.
Yeah.
This time last year, we lost against Preston, had Melier sent off. This time, everybody stayed on the pitch and we got a point. So when you're comparing it to last year, we were a point better off in that game. And I do think that, everybody has the right to be concerned, because it is concerning, and I don't know quite where we suggest, maybe we do the 3 in the centre situation instead when we're away from home, and we go that little bit more grizzled. I personally, I would have loved to see Gilavogi on, just for his pure physicality, even if he didn't necessarily offer a great deal technically, which I'm sure that he would have done.
Yeah.
But Preston, they're a good physical team, and I think they needed a bit of shithousery to counteract. They were
bullied us.
They were awful. Yeah, they did. And we did lack that kind of bit of needle in terms of to just, leave something on them. Obviously, I think the fact that Dan James got probably my favourite yellow card that a Leeds United player has got this season, because he fully deserved that ball to the face. That was a yellow card that was completely. I was okay with that yellow card. There's a few other players that I wish should have got yellow cards, and then maybe we wouldn't have conceded the goal in the first place. But overall, I'm still really happy because I think we were frustrating as hell, but we did get a little bit of luck, in terms of obviously the own goal right at the end. But we were on them. That second half, we came out with a little bit of fire in our bellies, and the substitutes again made a difference, regardless of whether it went down as an own goal or not. If Joseph isn't there, we don't get that goal, because he's not putting the defenders under pressure. Hero doesn't make those same movements. He doesn't pester the centre backs. So his substitutes again did make a difference.
Yeah, we definitely will get into selection and thoughts and stuff like that. That's something we definitely need to chat about. I just wanted to mention as well, like for those, I've seen a few. And again, I'm as annoyed as everyone, but I do agree with what Paul and Evie are saying in terms of like, we do need perspective, because the current form we find ourselves in is like 2.5 points per game at home, 1.4 points per game away from home, which when you forecast that out, you're looking at plus 90 points, 93 to be precise, which he's going to see Leeds United go up. But I think the worrying thing is like it feels almost like there's a rot setting, and that rot needs to change, because then if it doesn't, then the average points per game away from home will drop further, and then we'll be like, So there is that side of it. But I was going to say Paul again. Sorry, Matty. Let me come to you. Give me your overriding thoughts, mate.
Mate, the stats point to a good picture, don't they? Everything you say, the projection, when you look at the points we've got, we're on course for 2 points a game as we are currently, looking at 90 points this season. I don't think we'll lose at home this season, rest of the season, which might be a wild take. I just don't, which means you can afford to drop points away from home. But there's definitely a rot setting in, and you can't be happy with that performance. We tune in, we pay his money, we watch these games, and there's no way I can just have a throwaway comment if we're going to be all right, because that's not good enough. With Leeds United, and for me, like I say, the eye test away from home is absolutely appalling at the minute. 1 win in 5, and I know we're at 2 points per game, but when you look earlier in the season, going away to Wednesday, winning 2-0, going away to Cardiff, winning 2-0 as away form weren't too bad. His home form, we've got that on. You could say home form weren't as good. We've got that nailed down now, but this away form now, it's getting worse. We only just scraped past Swansea. We had to score 4 to win away at Swansea. These sides we're dropping points to. They're not a patch on us for quality. And I just can't go along with this notion, like the amount of people I've seen online today. This is why I stay away from social media, honestly. It's awful. We've got the best fans in the world and some of the worst. It's awful sometimes, honestly. The falling out you see online, it's shocking. But like, I can't go along with the narrative of, we'll be fine, everybody loses a game. Like, I can't go along with that, because everybody does lose a game. Luckily we're not City, because they're even in a worse position out there. But like, when you look at it, it's not just one game. It's a progression of away games. Like, I'd rather now, looking at it in hindsight, I'd rather drawn to Middlesbrough and got this hoodoo off us back and beat fucking Preston in that same amount of points. I'd have been happier, because now it rolls on to Stoke. Now we've got all these unanswered questions now to Stoke. Yeah. Do I think we'll batter Oxford? I don't care if they get Jose Mourinho in charge. We'll fucking put 5 past Oxford, I'm sure of it. But it's still that doubt now for Stoke. And we can all say we're better than Stoke. It's going to be a similar game to Preston. The blueprint's there. Yeah, we didn't lose it. I mean, it took us up 93rd minute to score, I just can't go along with, and I'm a big positive fan, and I think we'll be fine. But I can't just go along with, it's just, everyone drops points, it'll be fine, because there's a rot setting in away from home, and I don't know if it's a mentality thing. Farker's definitely culpable. The players need to get up for these dogfights when you're away from home. The referee was shit. There's loads of factors into why you can't get, you can't always win in 90 minutes. But the mentality of the lads when they go away from home, why is the tempo dropping? Why can't they play with the same freedom they have at Ellen Road? It's more pressure playing at Ellen Road for me. We've seen players crumble under that pressure. There's no pressure going away to Preston. They don't even sell out their stands. There's no pressure. They just go play freely. There's more pressure with 36,000 watching you. Every stray pass, we're on you. They're on your back because we expect. It's a great place to be, as Ellen Road, but there's more pressure playing at Ellen Road for me. I don't know why playing in front of 15,000, 20,000 at some of these crappy stadiums. Why we can't pick up 3 points. We'll be fine, mate. We will get 90 points. We'll be fine. But we are allowed to critique these away performances. And
100%.
I would have just loved to have got this hoodoo off us back, because we know with Leeds United, we don't score for a million corners. We can't win in his third kit for 5 fucking years. It goes on forever. I just wanted that away hoodoo to be done, and it just rolls on for another couple of weeks. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Annoying.
Yeah. I think you make loads of great points, Matty. I can't lie to you. It is, Well, football doesn't work like swap, because I could say to you, like, if we'd have lost to Borough and then win, I don't know, would you have been as happy? I don't know, but I hear what you're saying. Like, it does roll on again to Stoke. I was actually really confident going into Preston. I was still nervous about Stoke, but I fancied it to beat Preston. But I think there is a concern, and you're right in terms of mentality, tempo. It's giving away cheap goals. Like, why? If we score first in these games, we win,
100%.
If we score first against Preston yesterday, we win.
100%.
If we score first against Stoke, we'll win.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. We seem to be more porous defensively as well. Like, Strout got beat far too easily. Rodon's going, leave it, everyone. I don't know what he was doing, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know why he made that decision. The goalkeeper, again, I mean, we'll talk about some individuals now, but Mellier's like, it's at the point where he's costing us points. Like, it's one shot, one goal.
It's annoying because his reflexes were good enough to get him there. He actually got an hand on the ball, which it came at so much pace. I mean, to be fair, I would actually applaud it goal. I thought it was a fantastic move. I thought the defence was shocking. There were 2, 3, 4 times it could have been stopped. But I thought great move for Preston, limited quality. He put a fantastic ball into the box. But he actually gets there, does Meslier. I mean, it's just that wrist strength. I don't know what it is, but he actually gets there and he just don't get enough on it, which is just, when they slowed it down, it looked awful. I mean, when it first went in, I didn't even think it were really down to Meslier. When they slowed it down and you watched it over and over, it just got worse every replay I watched it, But that's the annoying thing. His reflexes got into the ball and he had enough. He wasn't even right in corner. He had enough there of his body to parry it round post. And it's just this thing, me and Evie spoke about it before. It's one of them where he just doesn't save you in those big moments. He did last week, don't get me wrong. It's rare. This was one of those moments again where you just need him to pull some out of bag. When an outfield player scores a worldie, does something phenomenal, you want him to come out with that. And is it a bit harsh? I mean, is it point blank range? A lot of blame goes to defenders, yes.
I don't think it is harsh, Matty. If it was the first time, fair enough, but it's every time. I think there's a case of him being culpable for a lot of it. I said I did a post match that went out at like lunchtime, and I look at every counterpart, and we probably go, do you know what? He's better. Ainsley Pears at Blackburn, he probably did better, because I guess we see more of the opposition's keepers because we're normally peppering them and they make good saves. Even the is it the Swansea keeper where Pirro should have scored? I can't remember. And that keeper makes that lovely worldly save. I can't remember the game it was in, but it's like, take him, swap him. I just don't know if what we have on the bench is good enough.
He's second bottom, isn't he, Joe, now for shots faced, what he should have saved or something. Shot percentage saved, I think it is his second bottom. That's scandalous.
Yeah.
He's not getting away from that, is it? That's scandalous.
Yeah, let's get Paul and Evie's thoughts on the keeper. Before we do, I just want to big up Kenneth Clement, who says, Merry Christmas from across the pond. Thanks for everything you do, brother. Cheers. Thank you very much, Kenneth. Merry Christmas to you. Feliz Navidad. Do they have, what's that American one? Thanksgiving. That's Christmas around that time? Or is it
just before Christmas?
Already, that's the day before
is
Black
that not
Friday.
related to Christmas whatsoever? No, I thought it was. Anyway, there you go. I don't know history, geography, maths. It is what it is. Paul, let's get your thoughts on the goalkeeper.
He doesn't help himself, is what I would say.
Yeah.
I agree with Matty. His reflexes to get down were really, really good. He should be. His wrist should be strong enough to palm that round the post. Yeah. Really, you can't get away from that fact. But what I will say, and this isn't me going, it isn't Mellier's fault because Meslier should have saved it. Literally, there were 10 players that could have stopped that goal from happening yesterday, and they didn't. Rothwell loses the ball. Struijk, when the ball's going out, it goes to his man rather than playing the space. If Struijk just plays the space, that cross doesn't come in.
Yeah.
That's simple. Rodon, God knows what Rodon was doing. But Bogle should have been tracking back a lot better and been absolutely aware of what was coming in behind him. So whilst I 100% agree, Meslier, he's the last line of defence. That's what he's paid to do. He should be saving the goal. However, there were a plethora of chances for that goal to be stopped, and it wasn't. And sometimes that's the issue a little bit. And that's where Bogle can be a little bit guilty of playing up front or playing too high sometimes and not getting back. But for me, Meslier now, in terms of... there's a...
You're killing this.
Matt, you where we can hear that, bro?
No, mate. No. I didn't mean to press that, mate. I didn't mean to press that. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't mean to press that.
Go on, Paul. Sorry.
So yeah, he's starting to. He's got. It's the right way of saying it. He's got points in the bag, but he's starting to lose those points that he's got saved up in the bag. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it at the moment.
And I think, and we do like I think Joe B makes that point as well quite regularly in terms of there's errors made before it gets to the goalkeeper, which I understand and I agree. Struijk's piss poor, Rodon's piss poor, but even the keeper has to save us in these scenarios, surely.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with one of your favourite people, Damar. Why, because he puts, why does the defence always have to be 10 out of 10 to save Meslier every game? And it's true. Like, and I've been in many a heated discussion recently on your channel regarding certain people, and Meslier was one of them. And that's the thing, is the fact that we can remember we always have to justify. We know that he had a good game against Middlesbrough. We know that he did, and he did keep us in that game because we genuinely could have gone 2-1 down, and then we struggled to come back from that. I think the fact that Paul's right. There was loads of errors. Rodon has no excuses. He just let the ball go past him. I don't understand why you would do that. And he's just, that's kind of putting Meslier just straight away in the firing line. At least if he'd have put a leg out or whatever to, any sort of touch takes that away from the running in Preston player. So it's just frustrating the fact that we don't, he doesn't make it and he gets his fingertips to it, and yet again how many times does he get his fingertips to something and still doesn't save it? What do his hands actually do at times? I genuinely don't know, because it's just so frustrating. But we've also, obviously I've seen a lot of people suggesting you should get Darlow in. He does well for Wales. Wales have had mainly friendlies to play recently. It's not really super competitive. I wouldn't compare a Wales international game to a championship. We need to get into the Premier League type of, it doesn't have that same amount of pressure on it, in my opinion. I'm not Welsh, so I'm not going to speak for I know. I'm not going to speak for the entire of Wales or anything like that. But what I would say is that we need somebody else, but I think we need a 10 and a 9 more than we need a new goalkeeper right now. And the 49ers, in my opinion, aren't going to spend the sort of money that we need to spend on a new goalkeeper in January, because I think if the 49ers did, you're potentially taking away from the 9 and 10 pot money, which that's where we need to. As long as we outscore people, you can get away with having a bit of a risky goalkeeper.
100%. Let's talk about the number 9 position then, because I feel like an absolute flip-flop with this, because I was bang on with Pirro and now now I want Joseph back in, if that makes sense, because Pirro was non-existent. The whole putting him back into the 10 was poor for me as well. So See, it's a difficult one because the glazing I feel on Joseph is gone too far, because I don't think he's amazing personally. I think him and the Bamford scenarios are very similar. Like, Joseph doesn't fucking finish them. Do you know what I mean? Like, Joseph misses the ball, to be fair. But hey ho, you know, it's a bit of a mad one. Matty, I'll come back to you, mate. What do we do in the striker position? Because yeah, there's not a settled number 9, is there really?
No, mate, that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, I personally think away from home, we should always start Joseph and then bring Pirro on. I think that showed yesterday when Pirro starts and he doesn't have a good game. When he gets at 70th minute, when most of his goals and assists come, you want him in that 9. But when he starts the game, he's usually coming off for Joseph or dropping into 10, isn't he? You know what I mean? So you're not getting the most effective Pirro. And that's not to say, you know, Joseph deserves more minutes than Pirro, because like you've seen all season, when Joseph starts and Pirro comes on a couple of games in a row, Pirro gets the goals, and then you have to start him because you sort of feel pressured to, because he deserves it. But for me, it's the best way forward. You could argue at home, Pirro can start and should start potentially, but I just think the combination works better when Joseph starts and Pirro comes on. It's not just because of what Joseph does for those 60, 70 minutes, which, as we know, he runs, he stretches defence, he tires out the defence, but naturally after 70 minutes, you're going to be tired anyway as a defender. And then when Pirro's in the box and he doesn't need more than one chance really to put it away, that is the only explanation I can have. I mean, turning to Bamford, I think it's a joke. As we go into 2025, I think it's an absolute joke that he's still getting any minutes, and that might, you know, annoy a lot of people. But he misses that sitter. I've heard talks today that were behind him, and everyone comparing his miss to Joseph's miss. You know, when you add some context to it, Joseph was, you know, 4 or 5 yards further out. He had a defender in his back. The goalkeeper.
So did Bamford.
Yeah, well, he wasn't in his back. He was behind him. He was putting pressure on. But honestly,
Joseph missed the ball. Joseph missed the ball completely.
No, he did. But the chance goes in, and I know that's not. But the chance goes in, so we're not going to discuss that because the ball ends up in the back of the net. So we're not going to. If that doesn't hit the defender and goes in, we can have that conversation, because it's not about the individual. You shouldn't even compare the two, because one ended up in a goal. And
why shouldn't you compare the two?
Because it ended up as a goal, mate.
Yeah,
so if Bamford scores, we score 2 and we win game, don't we? If Joseph misses and it's 1-0, of course we can talk about it. But he didn't. We move on. That play resulted in a goal.
No, but
so that's just that's a Bamford narrative that people love Bamford, and they're gonna, oh yeah, but Joseph missed it. Yeah, but it ended up in a goal, so it don't really matter. Bamford was on the line, mate. Bamford was on the fucking line and he missed it. Maybe it's just, you know, it was on the line. There's no way you know, the XG, I haven't seen the XG for the Joseph chance because it ended up in a goal anyway, so there probably isn't one, but that won't have been that high. Yeah, that won't have been that high though, you know, and maybe it's just he's had more rope as Bamford. He's been there a lot longer, and you know,
I think actually, but I don't think Joseph will have an XG because he missed the ball.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. But like I said, you've got these Bamford lovers who keep bringing that in. But you've got to ask yourself, Bamford only plays when we're losing, when we need a goal, when the two up front are doing the stuff in that 90-minute performance. Bamford ain't pushing for a start when everyone's on form. No one says we need Bamford when we win 3-0. Nobody.
No.
So what's that tell you? He only gets called upon when he, you know, if we had bleeding Antonucci on bench, he'd have seen minutes yesterday. Like, it's because he's a striker and we need more bodies. Good. Yeah, well, Mint scored some worldies. But he only came on because he's a striker and we need a goal. He isn't pushing.
But why did he go to I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Why did he go to Bamford then, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, it's that plan B that people say we've not got. For me, Bamford's a different option to everyone. He's closer to a Joseph than what Pirro is, but it's still a different option. So I reckon that's why I went for him. I do. That's my only explanation, because it isn't because he's a brilliant player. You know, he'll have his moments. He gets it. The thing is, he gets in these positions, and everyone says, "Yeah, but he gets in these positions." Yeah, he does, but getting in position means no if you don't put ball away. So for me, mate, you start Joseph and you bring Pirro on late in game, and that's the most effective way. And hopefully Bamford moves on and has a really good career, because I wish him not but love. Do you know what I mean? But I just don't want it at Leeds United.
Bamford, for me, Bamford came on because Bamford's more into the dark arts than what. Yeah, Joseph and Pirro. That's why Bamford comes on, because he's going to throw himself about a little bit. He's going to kick and dig and put things in. And I don't think Piru's not that type of player, and Joseph isn't yet. He's getting there, but he isn't that type of player yet. And look, I agree with Matt. You can't. The number 9 situation is the thing that will be the annoyance for us this season. But you also have to look at why aren't chances being created. And again, from the number 10 role, as good as Aronson's been, and this isn't me now trying to dig out Aronson, Aronson's been brilliant and good in his role. But somebody like a Ramazani who has that more kind of creative foresight and thought to him, I think that type of person then creates more chances, or a more creative player creates more chances for the number 9s.
100%. You must see that now, Joe. You must. We were saying it weeks ago. You must see it now, Paul. You must do.
No.
In a game like that, in a game like that away from home, Aronson shouldn't be playing.
Bro, you say you wanted Nonto to play there, yeah?
Mate, Ramazani, Solomon. There's not just Nonto.
Well, right, okay. But my point is, they're wingers, right? And there's a reason why they're not playing in the 10. And listen,
Aronson played off left.
Aronson was bad, but he's more of a 10. He's more of a 10. But
we might say that if we saw Ramazani in 10 for.
Yeah, I mean, but I just feel that. So my point is, it was Nonto before, and now we know that Nonto's been shite, and everyone can see he's been shite. No one's putting Nonto forward as an option anymore. It's like the next one on the line. I don't want to see Leeds United finish the season with Aronson in the 10. We need a number 10. We need a number 10. Or if Ampadu gets back to fitness, we push one of Tanaka or Rothwell.
That's the ideal, mate. Yeah.
Into for Aronson was shite yesterday. Please hear what I'm saying. I just don't think the answer is, right, well, let's try throwing a winger in there. And until I see it, Matty, I can't really comment.
Of course.
But, because it was the same with Rothwell. I said he was shite until until I seen him in there. This is the thing. I'm very much of, when people go, well, it deserves a chance. Well, no, because we need to go up. The manager sees him week in, week out. His job's on the line. He's not in a position to go, do you know what? I might just give it a chance. Because what if it goes to shit? What if it doesn't work?
Yeah, I don't
then
see
it's
that
like,
though.
do you know what I mean? Why did I do that? So that's where the angle that I come from, for sure. That's where I come from. Now, he was poor yesterday. He was poor.
Yeah.
I said pre-game, I'd have liked to have seen Nonto, Solomon or Ramazani, and Pirro. Got it wrong. Because I thought Nonto, where I'm at with Nonto, I don't get it. Like,
it's totally
people are saying
totally out of
he's
form.
the best in the league and all this sort of stuff. I don't see it personally. I thought he was so bad yesterday, but that's just my opinion. But we'll have to wait. Evie, do you have any thoughts on the number 10 position?
I think we just want to see a difference in terms of a change can be as good as a rest. So maybe somebody, how many times Farker doesn't like to change things unless he's forced into it. If Aronson felt a little knock, it wouldn't be the worst thing, in my opinion, because of the fact that we could then see something different and push Farker out of his comfort zone. Regardless of, I like Farker, and obviously, we got 90 points last year, and every other year it would have gotten us, automatic promotion, and we're on track to do the same this year. I can pick faults in him, and when it comes to changing things without the necessity, he isn't the most creative when it comes to trying things. He only tries things when he's got no other choice. Would we have seen the dynamic duo of Rothwell and Tanaka in the centre if Ampadu and Gruev weren't injured? You also put Ampadu and Gruev in that midfield yesterday. We get the exact same result, in my opinion, because they're not forward thinking as much as Rothwell and Tanaka are. So the likelihood is that game even ends up 1-0 with Gruev and Ampadu, because they're so defensively minded that we don't then have that counter option. That first goal is always so important to us. And that's what it means. That's why we have to score first, because actually we are so defend first in terms of protect the ball, etc., when we lose that ball and we lose that goal, we then struggle to think of how to do something different. I just want to see something different, because I actually didn't think he was the worst yesterday, like Aronson, but that miss should have been a goal, because that miss came before the potential red card. He gets sent off, we score that goal, we win that game comfortably in the end. That's my honest opinion. That goal could have changed everything. And I genuinely believe that we get that, we unlock them because we make them feel nervous. We didn't make them feel properly nervous until the last 10 minutes of the game. So we need somebody who can finish those chances. So I think you've got, we've seen oh, that was my face way too quick. Sorry. We've seen that Ramazani can finish his chances when he gets them, whereas Aronson, he's going down that path that I was anxious that he would go down, in terms of it was an incredibly fluky goal last week against Middlesbrough.
He was very good against Borough, though.
He was, but his goal was incredibly fluky in terms of, when it comes to when we need a goal, actually out of the front four that we started with yesterday, the people who I'm more confident with are James and Pirro. But Pirro, for me, shouldn't be starting in games like that. He just shouldn't. I heard, because again, I was watching it back on my recording, I had the delight of Andy Hinchcliffe on the commentary. So I heard Pirro's name mentioned twice in the first half, like twice, for the striker. Leeds United, that shouldn't be the case, regardless of whether you love him or hate him. I heard Bamford's name mentioned, a dozen times in the 10 minutes that he was on. You shouldn't have a striker that doesn't get mentioned, and that's because he gets on coming so deep for it, but then can't make the same runs that Dan James, can rely on Joseph for making, because Joseph is faster and stronger when it comes to that sort of play. So for me, Joseph wears them out, Pirro comes on and gets the goal. It was working. So especially in games like that, away from home, when everybody's going to be setting up defensively against us, that's what we need.
Yeah, it's tough. Bosnas Seasiders TV says Evie and Matty, best and biggest upcoming Leeds channels, really represent the average fan. I don't know what that means at the end, implying that others aren't average fans. I don't know. But yeah, listen, of course, go check out Evie and Matty on Imagine Not Being Leeds and Discourse of a Peacock. And everybody that comes on the channel, 100%. Big up to Seasiders TV, Bosnas, for the super chat. Paul, have you got any chat on the 10 and if we need to see a change? Because I almost feel that Farker is going to really ring the changes for Saturday. I genuinely feel
I think
he's going to change loads. I do. I've got something in me that says we could see Solomon start. We could see Ramazani finally get a start again. I think we might see Ampadu. I genuinely think he's going to look at that performance and say, right, I'm sick to back tea for this now. Let's get a good performance against Oxford and take that into Stoke.
Yeah, I keep saying it, but I think Saturday might be the game where we see a different number 10. There's a lot of talk going on, isn't there, on the chat channels and stuff, and by chat channels I mean the gossip channels and stuff and things like that, not Leeds United content related. But a lot of them are saying about Buendia coming in January, and that's actually going to be a really, really good option that might happen. So I think that he is getting fed up with it. I think he will change it. I think he will make a bit of a difference. He was fuming throughout most of the game, I think. He also, as well, it was quite noticeable that he made the first raft of substitutions in, the 63rd, 4th minute. So I know it's only 6 minutes earlier than 70, but he made them earlier than what he normally would do. So consequently, for me, I think he's going to make those changes. And I 100% agree with Evie with the Joseph thing. I think that Joseph should start for me. It should be Joseph that's starting. and then Peru to come on, because that seems to work really, really well for us. And I think just his movement is a lot better for the wingers as well, a little bit, that we have in terms of how they play. I think Solomon definitely starts. I think Nonto's going to find himself out of the team. I think he's had a couple of poor performances now, where he's not been at the level that we all know that he can be. But I definitely see Aronson coming out. But listen, we all sit and say this every single week, and he just keeps it exactly the same. So we're all just speculating for speculating's sake. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
It is. I'm almost like, I don't know about you, Matt. I almost feel like I wish we had a tougher opposition than Oxford, because
100%.
we'll wipe the floor with Oxford. I genuinely think we will. And then it'll be a case of, I'll get giddy again. The majority of the fan base will get
Passports
giddy.
are coming out.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And then we have to go away to Stoke. And it's like, I don't want it to be a false sense of security.
Yeah.
I mean, I am really worried about this away form right now. I am, and I don't know. I think maybe it needs changes ringing. Maybe, but then again, this is what I mean. I'm living in my head, because I'm like, am I throwing the baby out with the bathwater because we're second in the league? So does it need major changes?
Do you know what it is though?
Go on, Mike.
No, I'm just going to say, like, hopefully it does ring changes, and it's more than one or two. Hopefully, it's 3 or 4. Just because I reckon, it's not being arrogant at all. I do think we should beat Oxford and beat them well, regardless of who's in charge. So
we're at home, aren't we?
We're at home. Either,
yeah.
So let's just say hypothetically, we have the performance we're expecting. We win 3 or 4-0, and we have changed 4 or 5 players. He sticks with that. Then going into Stoke game, there might be a different away performance, because we've got 3 or 4 changes to what we've been seeing. Say if Aronson does come out of the 10, and then say he plays a winger in there, or Rothwell in the scoring hat-trick, you'll tell me we're only Oxford, Matty, which is fair enough, but it might mean he sticks with it for Oxford. It might mean he sticks with it for.
You've watched me far too long, you.
Far too long, mate. Far too long, honestly. But it might mean he sticks with it then, for the Stoke away game, and then we may see a difference in performance if there's 3 or 4 different players in there to what we're used to seeing, But I think the way forward, mate, away from home is maybe 3 in midfield, bringing in when it's just we haven't been able to do it with Ampadu being out. Gilavogi has always been an option, but I just don't think he fancies him for a full game. But I think that's the way maybe go forward. We saw Southampton do it really well last season. We witnessed that 3 times ourselves. We're playing with a 3 in midfield. It can really work if you play that way. And I think away from home, that's how we need to do it. But the Oxford game, mate, I don't think there's too much to go into. It's not arrogance. Any Leeds fan will know we should be beating Oxford, whether it's 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. I think it should be a comfortable game, 70% possession. Whoever we start, it's got to be that really, And if it were away from home, might be a different story. But at home, it doesn't really matter who we play at minute, does it really? It's almost a foregone conclusion at home. It really is.
See, I don't think he changes anything, because it works at home. So what would be the point? You're changing for change's sake at home, because right now nothing's going wrong at home. It's the away thing that I think that he should change it. But why would you change something that's clearly working at home? I want him to make loads of changes for the away game. I don't want him to make loads of changes because what happens if he makes those changes and we drop off a cliff at home? Then the fan base goes into absolute meltdown after that. I'd rather keep it. It's working at home, so don't change it. What's the point? It's working completely fine. Best home record in the league. We don't need to change a single thing at home. But if we're winning comfortably, then maybe make some changes to do a bit of a test run for an away game type of thing. But I wouldn't change the starting lineup for home. What would be the point? We know it works.
You change personnel, but not the actual tactics. You still go your 4.
No, I wouldn't change. I would probably keep the same team. And that's me saying, obviously, Aronson, I would like to see a change, but at home he's perfectly fine. But
he played Joseph, didn't he, Wednesday? And then...
Yeah, but that was against Middlesbrough. I think he'll go back to Pirro at home because we can afford to do that. We know that we've got the home advantage. So I just don't think that he will change anything, and I think it would be stupid for him to change something.
I think there's a fair few changes even that can get made that aren't. It's personnel, but they're not massive changing in terms of drop off. You could argue it's better quality. I think Voba potentially starts maybe moved Byram either to right back because Bogle were off it, or dropped Byram to bench.
Can I just jump in on that? I don't think Bogle was bad yesterday. I'm really surprised that.
Yeah, I'm not saying bad. I think he was off it, but I think that's a change that could be made. Byram might go bench and Bogle starts.
Just to quick, because
it's easy to criticize. It's easy to criticize a goal, isn't it? But I don't know if it was just because we weren't playing with tempo. He just didn't seem himself, but he didn't play bad.
He created a lot of attacking.
In my option though, if say we bring Vauban in, which could happen, I would rather Byram move to right back than Bogle right now, because Bogle's just coming back, and I'm a big Byram fan. So I would rather for this game give Bogle a game out and play Byram 100%. I'd pick Byram over Bogle every day of the week in this division.
Really?
Based on recent form, see what the chat say, 100%. And I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that. Based on recent form, Byram would play over Bogle right now. I think they would. Based on recent form, I think so.
No, I don't know, Mo. I don't know.
But then you look at it and you go, Ramazani may start, Solomon may start. The massive changes in terms of how good they are as players, but in terms of drop off, you're not getting much of a drop off change in quality. So that it could swap the wingers. Even though James has played brilliant, it could change the wingers. You could see Ramazani and Solomon coming.
Yeah, Ramazani and Solomon.
You could see that.
But dropping Bogle, I think smart. I think Bogle's your right back for when Firpo's fit, Firpo's your left back.
Fully fit, mate. Yeah, I just think Bogle didn't look fully fit.
I thought he was good though on the weekend. Does anyone think he was bad? Either you said he was good.
Not bad.
Well, yeah, not good then.
I think we always know that we're gonna both of our fullbacks, and no matter who we play at fullback, are gonna get caught high up the pitch. Preston were incredibly fast at counter-attacking, and we saw that a few times yesterday. And they happened to make that one count. It was I would say other people were more to blame for that goal than Bogle was. I would say Strout was more to blame. Tanaka was more to blame. Rodon was more to blame. Melier was more to blame than Bogle. I just don't think. I think that Bogle as well. He was injured, wasn't he, a couple of weeks ago? That's so maybe he's still feeling a few repercussions of that. But he was also getting us high up the pitch, and I feel frustrated. The same for Byram, of the fact that he made a good few opportunities yesterday, and Byram usually away from home isn't as attack minded as he is at Ellen Road. But he still created some good chances. He was pivotal to the Aronson miss. You can't help it if the forward players aren't then converting those chances. Nobody mentioned if we score those early goals, nobody's mentioning Bogle yesterday, because for me Bogle wasn't to blame for the goal. There was a host of other midfield and defenders that were to blame, and the goalkeeper before it even gets anywhere near to Bogle. So. Yeah. I know that obviously he was running back, and Rodon clearly, for some weird thought that Bogle was going to get in front of his man or whatever, but that was on Rodon, not on Bogle, kind of thing. Rodon was back, whereas Bogle wasn't. So Rodon should have dealt with that ball rather than Bogle. So yeah, that he's attacking. Firpo makes the same mistakes. All of our fullbacks, make the same mistakes. It's the way that we play that's the high risk when it comes to the fullbacks going forward to create that extra width. That's what we get.
Yeah, I thought he was good. Bosnas has qualified his statement by saying average fan, that these two are not interested in collecting receipts, proving people wrong or right, not interested in evaluating takes, just talking about the games. Very good channels. I assume implying that my channel does that. I assume. You've watched me long enough, bro. You don't need to pay any more, though. But yeah, thank you, Bosnas, for the love and support, my man. Anyway. Paul, any takes on Bogle?
I thought he was all right yesterday. I have an issue with the goal, but I thought from an attacking point of view, he was okay. The problem is, I think probably from a fitness point of view, I don't think he did slow down as the game went on, but I thought he was all right. Thought he was okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Cool. I thought he was okay as well.
Cool.
it's like I just not because Matty brought it up, and then obviously I've seen a lot online say something similar as well. So I just wondered if I was on my own in thinking that. But like I say,
it's a mix of the two. It's the same. You see the same thing all the time online, just in terms of people's like Damar says, opinions. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion and how they feel. For me, the thing that probably curbed it a little bit was the fact that Woba didn't start. I think if Woba had started, I don't think we lose that game yesterday either. But he had a strain, didn't he? I've been, and listen, everybody knows my opinions on Woba. I'm not his biggest fan, but his performances have done enough to warrant him starting in the team for me.
Yeah.
And just that little strain that he had kept him out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I muted myself again then. So moving forward then, what do we... Well, Matty, you've already said you'd like to see some changes made for the next away game. Yeah?
Yeah, be nice, yeah.
Yeah. And do you want to give us them?
The changes. Well, I think rotation of the wingers is key. I'd like to see Ramazani start a game. So are we looking ahead at Stoke now?
Yeah, let's move away from Oxford, like you said.
Just dismiss that one, mate.
Yeah, no, because obviously I do want to focus on the away form. You know, to like what do we do moving forward to?
Well, if I had my say, mate, on Stoke game, might be another couple of weeks away yet. I'd like to see Ramazani start. Probably with Jay.
Is it
yeah,
Boxing
I think
Day?
it is. Yeah.
Next
ideally,
Wednesday.
Ramazani, if he's not 100%, then I start Solomon at left. I'd have James up right, and I'd like to see a midfield three. Bearing in mind it's 2 weeks away, I'd like to hopefully see Ampadu, Rothwell, Tanaka in middle. Maybe Ampadu sitting the furthest back and letting the other two sort of roam a little bit and push up. I'd like to see Joseph start because we're away from home, ensuring Piddo's on for that last 20-25 minutes. Vauban at left back, right back. I would pick Bogle because he'll be, he will be fully fit by then. But like I say, there's not much drop off when Byron gets a one-off game as we saw a lot against Middlesbrough. And that'd pretty much be it, mate. That'd pretty much be it, mate. So like I say, Joseph starts, and I'd like to see Ramazani in there, and hopefully Ampadu can come in and hopefully I think we're all sort of banking on that working, that free midfield and Farke doing it. But whether he does that or not, but little bits we've got off him, I think he might be looking at that in the next few weeks. I don't know what you guys think of that, but I sort of feel like that's it back of Farke's mind at maybe doing that, bringing him in rather than dropping a Rothwell or a Tanaka. It might be Aronson. And like Evie said, I think Paulo said it with the subs, you can sort of see he subbed a few minutes earlier. Aronson went off this game, but he doesn't always go off. He does get subbed off from time to time. But I feel like is it a bit of a turning the guard sort of thing as what we're going to see in a few weeks, and maybe a subtle formation change for Stoke away, potentially. But God knows what he's going to do. God knows.
Yeah, I think for me, it's in the 10. I'm thinking we just need one in January, but then there's that thing of how long does it take to get one in? When will they be ready? You know what I mean?
It'll be 9 or 10 games before we've got them in. Can we afford to, to have this drop off?
I would suspect
11:59 on the 31st of January.
Standard for us, even. I would suspect though that the 49ers, if there is something going on, or we do know what we need, I think there could be. I think there's probably stuff going on in the background now to make that happen.
100%. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I do hope that is the crew.
Jeb always mentions like that Farke has little telltales as well when he, and when he's been talking in press conferences, it went from expect a quiet January to, we won't sleep in January kind of thing. And I think as well, having thinned down the recruitment staff and things will have helped because now there was a lack of synergy in terms of recruitment in the summertime, and maybe in order for everybody's best interests, because the 49ers will be feeling the pinch themselves. It's not going to be the same if we don't go up this year. Next year is not going to be like this year or last year. The financial restraints are going to get tighter, expectations, that the mood, if we think it's, elements of toxicity coming into the fan base now, just wait until August if we find ourselves in the Championship still, and then you'll see what toxic is with Leeds United. So I think that there are a lot of moving parts, and I think that they've seen and hopefully learnt from Ipswich and Southampton. You know, obviously Leicester were kind of had their hands tied and didn't do anything in January, but the other two teams that did go up ahead of us did move in January. And because the table is so tight this year with multiple teams that, you know, like you've got it going down to Sunderland and Watford and West Brom, you know, we're all not that far away from one another. And there's still a lot of footballing games that could completely turn the table upside down. And for us to be in the best position, we have to, you know, we have to move in January. And Barker hasn't made a secret of players that he's wanted, and in many respects he's been justified. He wanted Tanaka last year. You know, you imagine we'd have had a midfield of Tanaka, Kamara, Gruev and Ampadu last season, you know, and throw in Archie Gray as well there. And, you know, we've maybe got a little bit extra to get us over the line last season, you know. So I think that Farke, and if Farke does get what he wants, he has nothing he can't blame anybody other than himself.
Yeah. I think as well, we're already seeing Sheffield United linked to Ben Brayton Diaz, like credible, genuine links. And it looks, that's.
I don't get Diaz. I don't get it.
Oh, he's a good player, man. He's a good player. He did well for Sheffield United in the Prem last season, to be fair. He's a good player.
I like his hair. His hair offends me.
Do you know what worries me when I look at top of the table? I don't really focus on other teams and the table, really. I'm really not bothered about any other football than what Leeds are doing on a weekend or through a week. But I sort of look at it and I'm like, at the top of the table, all the teams around us can win games when they're playing very poorly. We don't. We play well and we batter teams. When we're off it, we struggle. And I know it's only really referring to away games, which is fair. But it's still, you know, it's a decent barometer to go off now because we're so far into the season. You know, half his games have pretty much been away from home. So it's like, I just don't. That's what worries me. You know, when we had this a few weeks ago, Joe, and I was saying I've got this little niggle in the back of my mind that's really worrying me because I expected us to be far and above the best side in the league, and I still think we've got the best players, best team. But the facts are Sheffield United really have gained 5 points more than us this season. They've had 2 taken off them, so they're only 3 in front. Burnley are absolutely turgid and they're right up our arse, you know. They can play part. I speak to a Sunderland fan, Wayne. He's been on my channel before. He's a top guy, and he says, you know, even these games they win, like yesterday, they haven't played well, and they somehow get it over the line. I know they've had a bad run, so Sunderland might be a bad way of looking. But look at run they've had, and they won't be far behind. They're only another couple of performances, and they're back in it. You know.
Can I just throw back to you though, right? Like, I hear what you're saying, but Burnley drew at home against Derby on midweek.
Oh, 100%.
That same Derby
that
we made look ordinary.
Yeah. But then they went to Norwich today and came back from 1-0. They were 1-0 down today at Norwich and came back and won.
We got a draw at Norwich, didn't we?
Yeah, no, I know.
You know what I mean? I'm not like
100%.
disagreeing with you, bro. I'm just giving you, like, I hear what you're saying, but also I think, like you've mentioned there, like you're just looking at Leeds United, and that's all you're bothered about. And I hear it, I get it.
Yeah.
But then we also, when we're going to use like Burnley or like they got that over the line, well, they drew against apart from Luton, the worst team I've seen Leeds United play in a very long time.
Because they are crap at football, Burnley. They are, but they can play poor and still come up with results. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like if we're not at it, we struggle in those games where it's really tough and it's dogged.
We got a result on Saturday.
Yeah,
I agree with you. It was bad, but we got a result.
Yeah, we did.
We've only lost 2 in 8 away from home. It's still bad, but we are also doing that. In my opinion, we are. If we'd have lost 7 of 8, but we've lost 2 of 8. So we are getting points away.
And 7 points out of the last 9. If you'd have given me 7 points at the beginning of the week, I'd have took them.
You'd have taken it, wouldn't you?
So that's where I start off with the negatives and I bring it back to I'm still comfortable where we are in the league. If you'd have offered me 7 points, like you said, we all thought we'd drop
before Middlesbrough. Yeah, exactly.
100%. So we're still in the same position I probably expected anyway this week. It's just we've ended week on a bit of a sour note, and it's just the questions prolonged now, don't they? They go for another couple of weeks, and I just would have liked to have nipped it in bud yesterday, but yeah, we still got. On the other hand, when you look at it, the mentality of the side shows it can go for 90 minutes, the 90 plus minutes. We see it, we score a lot of late goals, and we have done this season. So that's a plus. That's a bonus when I'm scratching around for positives. It's a positive that we go to the last minute. Do you know what I mean? And we managed to get a draw there. So that's a positive.
Yeah. No.
I'll end on that.
most goals after 90 minutes in the league.
Yeah, it's brilliant, Eva. Brilliant.
It's
more sub goals as well.
Can I ask a question? So obviously we all think that we've got a really good squad. We all think, and a lot of people have been quite vocal about the fact that we've got the best squad, that we should be getting up, and I'm not pointing or picking anybody out on here. I'm just saying in general, as a fan base, everybody's like, Farke should not fail with this squad. Can anybody really answer me? And this isn't me just being difficult. This is me genuinely. What have these players done to prove that they are better than the Championship? Other than a few brief moments, you look at the Man United game when Nonto scores, you look at, Ampadu's been relegated with 3 separate teams in different leagues. Tanaka was playing in the Bundesliga too. All of these things. But I don't understand when you add all of those things about all of this squad, where that, I don't know whether you've ever seen the big How I Met Your Mother, but there's a quote on there that says about the cheerleader effect. When you see a group of women together and they all look really attractive when you see them as a bunch, but when you actually look at them individually, they're all seriously flawed. But because you're looking at them as a group, they look incredible.
Not us.
No. But my point is, why, when you look at each individual player and you actually look what they've achieved, why do we think that these players are better than the Championship? Why do we think that Farke is failing if we don't get up with these players, when actually these players on their own, even Solomon has had to come down because of the fact that he has been so injured, and you have to be available in order to be successful. And if you're not available, then you're not.
I would have a go answering it and saying that I don't think the whole squad is better than the Championship. Like I look at Brendan now and I say he's a Championship player. He's a squad player in the Premier League. He doesn't start in the Premier League. I look at Dan James. There's even a conversation, and he's been our best player, especially of late, that should he start week in, week out on the right wing in the Premier League? I would say yes now. But I think, like, for me...
I love Dan James, but Dan James, for me, is a squad player in the Premier League. But I love Dan James, but I'm also not blinded by...
I guess I would say to you, Evie, if we got promoted tomorrow, who would start in the Premier League for you? And I would say I would give the back 4 a go. Certainly the centre-backs. I think the midfield 4 is okay. We'd need a 9. We'd need a couple of wingers, and we definitely need a 10. I don't think there's that many that are guaranteed starters in the Premier League if we got promoted tomorrow. I don't. So I sort of agree with you, but I also feel that the level of our squad is better than the rest of the division.
But so Burnley,
they also have a very good squad.
Yeah, Sheffield United, even kind of like Sunderland, they've built for quite a few years. Middlesbrough have built for quite a few years in terms of, getting players in. Yes, they've sold players, the same with Sunderland, but they've reinvested that money in pretty good Championship players. But in terms of, there's so many people that just seem to think that Farke is doing everything wrong if he doesn't get promoted with this squad. But this squad of players has never actually, all of them, achieved promotion before. They've not actually been successful in the Premier League before. So how can we say that this team definitely should? And somebody, I think it was Jamie, just put in the fact of the amount of money that we've spent. But how many years has it taken Chelsea to get in European spot after spending £2 billion on a squad? Just because you overpay for players doesn't necessarily guarantee the quality of the players. And I do think we have a tendency to overhype our own players because we're Leeds United, and that's kind of what we do.
Is your point that the squad isn't as good as we think, or so therefore there shouldn't be as much criticism on Farke? Is that what you're saying?
I think that the squad and Farke are far more even than people are giving Farke credit for. I think that people make the squad out to be up here and Farke's tactics to be down here, when actually it's probably more like that.
I like that.
I think the proof of the squad being the best is definitely not there either. I think it's definitely, when you look at being a year 2 parachute payment side, 3 have come down from Prem, 2 went back up last year, so there's 4 other than, I think Norwich in the 3rd year. So I think you can probably say, hand on heart, that we're better than 80-85% of the league, and that's a fact based on the quality of the players. We have got the money, we have got the wage budget, so I would assume these players will be better than 85% of the league. But I think I do it as a throwaway comment. A lot of people do. Oh, best side at league. You said it, Joe. We've all probably said it at some point. Sometimes it just comes out as an off the cuff comment, but when you break it down like that, you probably are spot on there. To say we're the best outright, or better than Sheffield United, better than Burnley, is that a little bit too far? Maybe, but we are one of the better sides. And to be fair, we're second in the league, so we're not far off where we should be, really, when you look at it like that.
I think depth-wise, we like Jamie's just mentioned, Jamie Shackleton's an option for Sheffield United. He was our 4th choice right back. Depth-wise, and in terms of depth, the 2 squads for me is us and Burnley, and I pick us because obviously I'm a Leeds United fan. 11-wise, I think it's us and Blades, but that's just my opinion. I think this squad is the best. Like, I do think that, and I won't be swayed on that.
We ain't had depth in years, have we, Joe? So I know
not like we have now, mate.
You can look at our Prem side and say that will better, because obviously it's different levels. But even in the Prem, we didn't have a Prem depth like we've got a Championship depth now. Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of depth and numbers of quality for the level we're at, we're probably getting a bit excited because we look at that bench and go, wow, after the first 11, you've still got 6, 7, 8, 9 who could come on and do something. That's probably why we get carried away. Yeah. That's why we get carried away, I think, innit?
Yeah. Like AT's just said there, Anthony starts week in, week out for Burnley.
Yeah.
He couldn't even go. And there comes the point, we have options to change games. Then you come back to the manager. Are we changing games? Well, I would say, in fairness to the manager, the subs are impacting games because most goals, late goals, and all that. But it's been, I can't lie to you, it's been a slog tonight. I was supposed to be more positive. I've come off feeling worse, if I'm honest. I know, right? It's been a slog. The chat's been popping off. We've had debates in here as well, but it is all love. Mate. Yeah, it is all love. Please know that. But yeah, like Don James says, Farker's not getting the best. Pat, I think, was saying he's getting too much criticism because the squad isn't that good. I think when Leeds United lose, this is what happens. And I think because there's so much tension amongst the fan base, because we know we have to go up, that's where I've come to. So that's how it feels to me.
Hey, listen, we could be Southampton at home.
Just going to say exactly the same. They're 5-0 down at half time.
At half time.
I know.
Yeah.
A draw. If we go up this year, a draw away from home next year, we'll all be buzzing, won't we? So need to just try and enjoy this season.
Archie Gray's playing at centre back for them, by the way.
I'd just like to, Joe, can you imagine? You see how we're all feeling a little bit now? We get promoted. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when we get promoted? And it's just
this is why we've got to enjoy this, because it won't be like this if we get promoted next year, because what's the point of just feeling constantly miserable to then feel...
When we sacked Bielsa and brought in Jesse Marsh, surely.
Well, no, because you would have hoped if we go up that the 49ers will have learned, because they were passengers at that point. You would have hoped that they've kind of basically been taught, this is what you don't do when you get promoted to the Premier League, and you don't spend on the credit card, and you don't do X, Y, and Z. But at the same time, sometimes you have to take some risks when it comes to spending. Look at Forest. They were that close, and now they're a point ahead of Man City in the Premier League. Like they spent and they had a points deduction last season and things, and now this season they're sat in European places ahead of Man City. So there are benefits to pushing that grey line when it comes to spending, and the 49ers and Leeds United as a whole, as a kind of an enterprise, have a lot of spending power if we go up. The amount of money that we will be able to spend, because we have such a incredibly large fan base and global kind of thing, I think will be fine. But I don't think it's going to be the first season under Bielsa type of fine. I think we'll be give me 16th in the Premier League, and I'll be more than happy for the first season back up. But then obviously,
100%. I told people on this guy, this is me where I collect receipts and that, you see. If you don't like it though, folks. But yeah, I did tell them on Nuno Yorkshireman. I did tell them, but hey ho, what do you know? But yeah.
Also, just quickly going back to the Farker and the squad thing, we're top 3 with 2 first-year parachute payment teams. So we're still technically, and we sold a load of players in the summer for the 2nd consecutive year, and we're still up there. So we've done it on a tighter budget, and we're still in automatic spots right now. So
just to throw you a wild stat out as well, who's the form team of the last 6 games in the division?
Blackburn.
6 on the spin. They've won 6 on the spin.
He's some manager him at this level, He's some manager.
He is.
And he's been linked to Wolves, by the way. He's been linked to Wolves.
Go, get him off.
Yeah.
Get on, lad.
They've got somebody lined up, haven't they, Wolves? So I pissed myself.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, I don't know, but they're in advanced talks with somebody, aren't they? So it'd be interesting to see. But yeah.
Got Blackburn at home soon.
Yeah.
Got them coming up, aren't we?
Anyway.
Mint chat that, Joe. Mint chat that.
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. But that was better than game. Enjoyed that. Yeah.
I like that. Right, folks. Well, sorry.
Joe needs some sleep.
Yeah, I was up late last night. Okay, so Paul, Leeds Therapy. Go check him out. Right.
Thank you.
Reviews, previews, stuff. Eva, Discourse of a Peacock. Reviews, previews, just general chats. Check it out. Imagine not being
fabulous ASMR, by the way, for anybody that's not listened to Evie. Fabulous ASMR.
Oh, really? Matty's actually got a show going live straight after this, haven't you, buddy?
Yeah, mate, the final pint with all the Leeds bros, Darren and Dylan, straight after this. Give me 5 minutes to pour myself a cold one, and then we'll be on. So
Any guests on? I know I was supposed to come on, weren't I?
Yeah, you were supposed to come on, mate. Yeah. No, we'll sort some out for soon, but yeah, no guests, just me, Darren and Dillo, but it'll be good. I haven't really spoken to him since game, so we'll tear into it over there if you want to come along for the ride.
Yeah, go check it out. I'm sort of glad I've turned it in now because Matty's on smoke tonight, so he might have wanted to fight me.
Cool.
Fight me.
Misfits, are you watching Misfits?
Yeah, listen, folks, go check out the final pint, which is on straight after this as well. Keep the chat going. I'm really sorry for you. Really sorry. Thanks everyone for watching. We're all just feeling a little bit shit at the minute, aren't we, because of the football. But hopefully it'll turn around. He definitely will next Saturday against Oxford, so we've got that to look forward to. Please don't get a new manager bounce, please. Oh, sorry, Jamie, I missed this, bro. He says Burnley next 5, Watford, Sheffield United, Borough, Stoke, Blackburn, Sheffield United next 5, Cardiff, Burnley, West Brom, Sunderland, Watford. We have to
have a gap and pull away.
Yeah. Well, we did the prediction, Jamie, and we had us, not just me, the chat had us 5 points gap, but we were beating Preston. That's obviously changed already, so maybe it won't be 5. But who knows? They have got some tough fixtures. We need to take advantage of it, mate. I totally agree with you. Ideally, with the fixtures we got coming up, we should have 9 from 9. We've got Oxford, Stoke, and Derby. Come on. Gotta do this. And we have 2 away games back to back. So how great would it be if we beat Stoke, Derby, bam, right, it's done. Do you know what I mean? The away, it's done. So, yeah. I'm waffling now, though. And like Damar says, my number 1 fan, he says, so unprofessional, yawning. And on that note, actually, Matty, what's the final word tonight?
Positivity. Come on.
Big up, folks. Bye-bye now.